Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
Well, this is a rare privilege for me. Let me just say it out loud. Rare privilege for me to be on with all of you. It's not just a Friday, and I'm sorry Patrice is not going to be with me today, but yes, it is Friday here on O'Connor and Company. It's 5:06 a.m. here on WMAL. We are making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. The rare opportunity for me to be with you on a Friday, and happy 4th of July, everybody. Happy Independence Day. I do love calling it Independence Day. It is, Thanksgiving still remains my favorite holiday. I think followed up by Christmas, but 4th of July, it's up there in the top three without a doubt. You know, I love Independence Day. So excited. And for all of you who are out there who are listening at 5 a.m. on an Independence Day, because you're getting ready to go somewhere, maybe you're heading down to the mall. It's going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous day to be outside. I'm just thrilled. And obviously we got the big news. Let me tease the show. Oh, did I introduce myself? I didn't introduce myself. Hi, everybody. It's your old buddy Andrew Langer. Happy to be in for Larry today. Always good, always a time to be in for Larry. You know, Heather comes a-calling, and I'm like, yes, please. Yeah, throw me into that briar patch. I'm all set. But we've got a great show today, a jam-packed show. Even if we are Patriceless, we are going to celebrate Friday in style, a special Friday in style. Listen, we got a singer coming up. Her name is Savannah Nicole. I met her last week at the Faith and Freedom Coalition's March Road to the Majority, and she's great. She sang the Star Spangled Banner there. Asked a lot of my guests today what the 4th of July means to them. So we've got her. We've got Blanketa Cullum from the Epoch Times is going to be joining us. Michael Watley, chairman of the RNC, going to be joining us to talk about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, why it was important to pass. Actually, when I talked to Michael, it was before it passed, but nevertheless, it works. Matthew Faraci, who's a journalist, is Israeli citizen, is going to be joining us as well. Jane Hampton Cook, presidential historian. Tim Graham from Newsbusters and the Media Research Center, he's joining us. We've got congressional candidate and emigre from Russia, Anna Medvedeva. I kept butchering that name. You talk about, it's so funny. There is a streak among emigres from Russia who are conservative or libertarian, and their activism is so vitally important. We've got Emily Sturge from Campus Reform, Roma Daravi joining us, the spokeswoman and vice president of public relations for the Kennedy Center, and our old friend Scotty Nell Hughes, now a senior fellow at the Faith at the Frontiers of Freedom. Plus, it's not on my guest list, my special reading of the Declaration of Independence. I'm going to do that today. So, yeah, guys, lots going on. This is O'Connor and Company here on WMAL. And so the big news, right? The One Big Beautiful Bill Act has passed. I was surprised. I'm genuinely surprised that it passed and passed quickly. That the bill is going to make it to the president's desk today. He's going to sign it at the big beautiful barbecue that they're having, the One Big Beautiful Barbecue for America. Actually, I shouldn't say it that way because the left might seize on that. But let's talk about this. The president talking about signing this. Jeff, let's go ahead and play cut number one.
They're going to be very proud tomorrow. So we're signing at about 5 o'clock, and at about 5 o'clock we're going to have B-2s and F-22s and F-35s flying right over the White House. And the Speaker and I and John Thune, we're all there together with most Republican senators and congressmen and women. And it's going to be a great day. So we'll be signing with those beautiful planes flying right over our head.
And that's exciting. Yeah. I mean, listen, he's a showman, our president. Say what you will. He's a showman. But it is a massive accomplishment. They got everybody together to do it. I got a couple played in a couple of minutes from Byron Donalds talking about the negotiations. But the president being the president, he thanked congressional leaders for doing what we did not think was going to be possible. And one of the other things we're going to talk about today is Donald Trump unstoppable? He had a great 2 weeks, these last 2 weeks. This is good stuff here. But the president throwing out some thanks to the folks who helped him get there. Let's play cut number 2.
I think we're going to get great growth. I think we'll have growth at record numbers. This is going to be something that's amazing, and everybody was watching it all over the world. And I want to congratulate the Speaker and Tom Emmer and Steve Scalise and everybody else. I mean, they worked so hard, so hard. This has really been going on for over a year, if you think about it. I think, to be exact, about 14 months. And this was the culmination, and I guess it ended a lot earlier. A lot of people thought it would end up the following afternoon. Well, it ended up late in the evening, but they were great. They were great. And by the way, on the Senate side, I thought Senator Thune did a fantastic job.
There you go. You know, the man giving props where he needs to give props. And how did he get there? Well, that's the key question is how did he get to this? Well, you know, it took negotiation, and so here is the president talking about getting them to a yes. Let's play cut number 3.
I think when you go over the bill, it was very easy to get him to a yes. You know, we went over that bill, and point after point, biggest tax cut in history, great for security, great on the southern border, immigration is covered. We covered just about everything. Again, it's the biggest bill ever signed of its kind.
And that's the thing. Now, listen, that cuts both ways. Let's be really fair here. Let's be really fair. The reason why it cuts so many things, the reason why it's historic about cutting, is because we've allowed our budget to get so bloated over time. Well, we have. It's, you know, I was having a conversation with somebody last night about this, and you know, the good things in the bill and the bad things in the bill. It's not perfect, guys. No bill is going to be perfect. It doesn't do everything that I want it to do, but you know what? It's a hell of a lot better than the alternative, which was to let the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act taxes and tax cuts expire. The tax cuts that are in here are great. There are other things in here that are great that absolutely need to be done. Taking out the REINS Act, which is a big thing for me. Let me explain for a second here, just in case you don't remember. Right, I do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of media, a lot of radio and podcast hosting. I also run the Center for Regulatory Freedom over at CPAC with our good friend Mercy Schlapp. Well, she's CPAC. I run this regulatory project that's a part of it, as well as run the Coalition Against Socialized Medicine, which is a CPAC project. And do this podcast for the Federal Newswire called The Lunch Hour. And I just did this special series, 23 episodes on this thing called the REINS Act, which is a big regulatory thing. We were hoping that the REINS Act was going to be included in the One Big Beautiful Bill. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But does that mean that I'm going to trash the bill? No, of course not. Because at the end of the day, on balance, it is better than the alternative, and it does so many good things. Yeah, we're going to get into the Democrat hyperbole about this. This is a thing, as it were. It is an issue. The hyperbole that the Democrats are having and the continued movement leftward of the Democrats. And so, so this, all of their moaning and wailing and gnashing of teeth, their hewing and crying, so thus far it has not served them well, because thus far every time they have hewn and cried and moaned and wailed and gnashed teeth over the policies of this president, what they have talked about hasn't come to pass. And we can get into the issues of the economy and what's happening in the economy, because there's a lot of good going on here. I mean, by all accounts, things are doing exactly what the Trump team had promised with regards to the economy, and doing it organically, not artificially, like a lot of the nonsense of the Biden administration. You know, having gas prices come down, even though we bombed Iran, is nothing more than a function of the U.S. reasserting its dominance over oil production on the global stage and being able to blow out any kind of disruption that might happen from the Middle East. The signals that we're making elsewhere in the economy regarding energy. So listen, we'll continue in just a moment. I don't think we have traffic yet. It is 5:16 a.m., right, Jeff? We don't have traffic yet, do we? All right, we don't have traffic. We're working on traffic. Oh, I that's right. I'm sorry. I am going to do this. I'm just going to go look. Let's go look, guys. Let's take a second and look at how things look on. Something. Let's do this. Oh, do we? We do have traffic. Traffic and weather together on the 5. Oh, you're doing it for me. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Let me take a look at the traffic in and around Washington D.C. on the Google Maps right now, guys. It's looking good. Now, obviously, you want to avoid downtown. Don't drive downtown because it looks like the roads around the mall are closed. It looks like there's closures on the George Washington Parkway. Maybe not. No, it looks. Listen, everything looks good elsewhere. So go and spend some time out there if you're going to get out there. Now is the right time to do it. I know you're doing it. Oh, it looks like a little bit of a Stau. That's German for traffic jam. Over on the Beltway, over near. That may be the HOV lanes that are closed over near Tyson. So go and just be warned of that. Otherwise, if you hear anything, let me know.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
So listen, guys, I went to the Faith and Freedom Coalition's Road to the Majority last week, and I had the opportunity to sit down with a young woman named Savannah Nicole. She's a singer. She sang the Star Spangled Banner there, and I wanted to chat with her about what the 4th of July means to her. Go ahead, Jeff. Let's play that interview. No. Okay, Jeff. I'm sorry. I guess we didn't understand. I sent that to you to play. So no worries. Oh, good. Thanks. Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back. I am Andrew Langer here on this wonderful Independence Day for our special 4th of July show here on O'Connor and Company. Joining me right now, as I've been recording these things at the Faith and Freedom Coalition's Road to Majority, joining us right now is Savannah Nicole. She came and did a wonderful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem. And Savannah, I just got to ask you, so what does Independence Day, what does the 4th of July mean to you? If I say 4th of July, what immediately comes to mind?
Fireworks.
There you go.
Fireworks and celebrating America. And
yeah, it's a wonderful thing to do. We have to celebrate. We have to be ebullient about where we are in America today, how we've come. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I guess the 4th of July means to me is just celebrating America and the fireworks and just spending time with family and red, white, and blue. Yeah,
tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up? How'd you get into singing? All of those things.
Yeah, so I'm basically from LJ, Georgia.
Okay.
Went to school there. My family's from Blue Ridge. Basically, LJ is basically the North Georgia mountains.
Okay.
So you got like the apples there, apple orchards, peaches,
nice.
And so the back roads and everything. So that's where I grew up in a very small town.
And when you were growing up, how did you guys? The 4th of July would come around. How would you guys spend your 4th?
So basically, I would go like downtown. It's a small little square. They'd have the fireworks there. And barbecue, family, pictures, and they'll have fairs and festivals. Going downtown. So that's basically how I spend my 4th of July.
How'd you get involved in singing?
Singing, so basically, I'm from LJ, Georgia, and I've been singing my whole entire life.
Nice.
Been singing in church, and that's basically where it came from, is singing. And my grandpa sings, so I get it from that side of the family. And so I started singing. I started playing the piano when I was like in high school. Started learning how to play the piano, and I just now started learning how to play the guitar
Nice.
and into songwriting as well. So I've been like learning and growing into the music industry and learning as much as I can. So
that's good. So influences? Who do you go to? Who's on your Spotify playlist right now?
Yeah. So I have one singer I really, really
Okay.
like. She's just like my inspiration. Her name is Gabby.
Okay.
Yeah. I love Gabby. I love Kelsey. They're both really good country stars in the music industry. I really look up to them and other people. So, but those are my inspirationals where I go to.
That's wonderful. You know, I spend a lot of time listening to music, talking about music. It's one of my favorite things to do. All right. So it's 4th of July.
Okay.
The buffet is spread out. You know, you're at your family barbecue.
Yes.
What's the first thing you go for? What's the thing you have to have on your plate?
I don't know. Maybe the mac and cheese.
Okay, sure. Good Southern girl like you. You need that without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure, the mac and cheese.
The mac and cheese. That's a good thing. Anything you avoid? What don't you have? What do you absolutely? You know.
I don't know if I would go for the coleslaw. Or the
you know something?
beans.
I was going to
Not
say.
the coleslaw.
I'm looking at you and I was like, you know something? She's going to say coleslaw. It's you know, some folks you either love it or you hate it. No, I get that. I get that entirely. So because we're pre-recording this a week before 4th of July. What are your plans? How are you gonna spend Independence Day this year?
I'm not sure. Maybe go out with some friends, go take pictures,
sure.
go do the fireworks and things like that. So.
And what's next? Are you doing any touring? You're releasing songs? How do folks find out more about where you are?
I have done some touring and things
Good.
like that already, and I'm singing the national anthem. Just came off tour, so things have been going really well for me.
And how do folks find out more about the good work you're doing?
So they can follow me on Savannah Nicole on all platforms. My Instagram is it's Savannah Nicole. So basically, I will post like a lot of people follow me on social media. So
Sure.
not with just music. I do like a lot of modeling and social media. So I've worked with hundreds of businesses and brands of just like that modeling world, influencing kind of well. And I have people follow me because of like I'll share my journey. Like I'll post my music on there.
That's
I'll
good.
do like vlogs. I travel a lot. So I have a lot of people like I go back home and they're like, oh my God, I love following you. I love your pictures and videos and stuff. You know,
This
so
isn't
people
your
can-
first trip to D.C., is it?
No, this is my first time here.
Oh
in
wow!
Washington,
And
DC.
how are you finding our nation's capital?
I love it.
Okay.
I was just there not long ago, so I was there yesterday. I loved it, and I'm like looking around. I was like, man, this is beautiful. This is a mansion.
Yeah, no, it is amazing. And when do you head back?
I will be going back tomorrow.
There you
But
go.
I'll be back again. I'll be
Listen,
back again in Washington. DC.
I will recommend this. Go and take a trip to Ben's Chili Bowl, which is a DC institution. They have good mac and cheese. You'll like that.
The mac
there.
and cheese is amazing. I love mac and cheese. So.
Savannah Nicole, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Yeah, it's so nice to meet you.
You're welcome. This has been Savannah Nicole. I'm Andrew Langer in for Larry O'Connor on O'Connor and Company today. Happy July 4th, everybody, and we will be right back.
WMAL FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
Well, good morning. Happy Independence Day, one and all. It is 5:36 on News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. I am Andrew Langer. We got a jam-packed show. We got Michael Watley joining us, Matt Faraci, Jane Hampton Cook, author and historian, Tim Graham from Newsbusters, congressional candidate Anna Medvedeva, Emily Sturge, Scotty Hughes, and Roma Daravi from the Kennedy Center. Joining all of us right now is a good friend of mine, longtime colleague of mine. Her name is Blanketa Cullum. She is now with the Epoch Times. And let's start here, BQ. Oh, by the way, we're recording this at the Faith and Freedom Coalition's Road to the Majority event in Washington, D.C. What does Independence Day mean to you?
Oh, it means a lot, Mr. Langer. And, you know, Andrew and I have traveled together in places where they have not had much faith.
No.
They've had a lot of, they haven't had no freedom.
Neither faith nor freedom. Yeah, that's exactly
faith
right.
nor freedom. But the fact of the matter is, you know, I MC the National Memorial Day
Right.
Parade every year. The past year was my 20th year.
Amazing.
And I have seen so many heroes that have put their lives on the line, risking everything they have to defend our country. And when you see even the mothers in that parade, the Gold Star mothers holding the photos of their families of lost loved ones, you realize what people were willing to suffer and offer up to defend our country. What is
Right.
it, a republic, if we can keep it?
Right. And part and parcel of this is the issue of dialogue. I was at an event last night. A buddy of mine puts together a group of folks from across the political spectrum who happen to be involved in the healthcare policy. And it's an area where we're discussing what is being debated up on Capitol Hill in terms of the spending bill. Obviously, widely different perspectives on what's happening with the healthcare portions of the one big beautiful bill. And the question got asked, which is, why can't we come together? Right? And I find these conversations valuable. I think they find the conversations valuable. And I made a point where we can't agree on what the problems are. And if we can't agree on what the problems are, we can't agree on what the solutions are. You've been looking at politics, talking about politics for a very long time. How did we get to this point where we can't agree on what the problems are?
Because you said something much earlier in this discussion. You said we can't talk to each other.
Right.
And we've forgotten how to talk to each other. The thing of it is, I mean, let's just take an example. You're riding on the metro here in Washington, D.C. How many people are looking at you? They're looking at their phones.
Right.
They don't have appointment television where they're going home at 5, 6, or 10 o'clock at night to be able to watch the news and an appointment with their family. Kids, they can't talk to each other. They can look at their phone. They can go online. They can go to TikTok. They can do all of those things. But how many of those young people are going out to play?
Right.
They don't know how to talk to each other. They can't ask each other on a date. Big deal for us was to ask someone to the prom, right? But the fact of the matter, it begins with talking to each
Time
other.
out for a second, because it's interesting you talk about this, because we could talk sociologically. There is a sociological phenomenon, because you're right. At the end of the day, we would see each other face to face.
Correct.
And we would interact with one another. Now you have these elaborate promposals. I don't know if you're familiar with this term, but it's all geared towards social media and the social media moment. There's something about we're not living in the reality of the moment. We're living towards some, where we're all putting on face, and that artificiality lends to it, doesn't it?
And it's sad, really, because half the fun is living in the moment, getting out there and doing it, not worrying about how you look. It's just getting out there and having the experience of making a difference for good. Now, think about this.
Yeah.
What do Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump have in common?
They both know how to entertain.
Close.
Sorry.
But think about this, because they came from periods, for example, Ronald Reagan, he was groomed during the golden age of Hollywood to look presidential, to learn how to speak. He had, obviously, political aspirations that, when he was like the head of the Screen Actors Guild.
Sure.
But he knew how to look like a president.
Yeah.
Now take Donald Trump to the period where he became the reality king.
Right.
He learned but they both knew what? The audience.
Right.
Now, years ago, I had the opportunity to be interviewed, or actually to interview, a very famous comic by the name of George Burns.
Oh, sure.
Some people know him. You know
No,
him.
I do, yes.
All right. Zeta, 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 right? with his cigar. And he said, "Kid, you're going to do okay," he told me. He said, "but I'm going to give you the most important piece of advice. Remember, when George Burns and Gracie Allen started, it was during the Depression.
Right.
When people had to, buy tickets. It took a lot because they could barely afford to go to the theater.
Sure.
He said to me, most important thing is don't forget the folks who buy the tickets.
Right.
So what has Trump remembered? The folks who buy the tickets.
Yes.
Ronald Reagan remembered the folks who buy the tickets.
Right.
Now, the difference I would say to you that Ronald Reagan had is he was fortunate to get a cabinet when he first started that was a little bit more loyal to him in his first term of office. Trump had to grow up and learn a little bit there. He didn't have the same type of experience. Hopefully this time he will.
Yeah.
But they both had to learn how to remember the folks that buy the tickets.
What's interesting you say that, because I just finished reading Lorne Michaels' biography by Susan Johnson. Lorne, the man who invented Saturday Night. And to me, it's actually really a series of lessons in leadership, how you manage people, what you need to do, how you deal with large organizations that are working under enormous pressure. And one of those things that Lorne Michaels is always keeping in the back of his head is know who's buying the tickets, understand that there's
Correct.
a vast amount of America between the coasts, and that you have to play to those people. Now, I know we all would think that Saturday Night Live skews left, and of course it does. But you have to remember, and you also have to find the good or something likable in even the people you don't like.
Well, think about that show, okay?
Yeah.
Think about the hosts they've had that were terrible.
Right.
Okay, whether it was, who was it? The Spears sister that forgot the words. I can't remember who it was.
Oh, well, there was the Spears, it was either Brittany or Jamie Lynn. I don't know.
Jamie Lynn.
Got it, yes.
Jamie Lynn got messed up. But the main thing is this. The ones that did the best, even people that some of us may not like politically, but they were great entertainers, they knew how to engage the audience.
Right.
That's the thing. And people forget, sometimes when we talk about political issues, it's not talking in a term that's going to operate with your head. First of all, it's going to operate first. It's your heart.
Right.
Do you identify? Do you like them? Are you moved by them? Do you think they're sincere? Are there someone that should be willing to take a bullet for because you think they're so great? You're not thinking with your brain. You're thinking with your heart.
Yes.
And right now, the left has lost the heart.
Yes.
They've made a decision, and they used to be great. They used to have a great farm team.
Right.
The left. They were wonderful. You think about the Kennedys. They were wonderful. My dad took me out of grade school to go meet John Kennedy.
It's thank you so very much, Blitz Blankita Cullum from the Epoch Times. We've got more coming up. It's 5:43 on WMAL.
Friday on the Derek Hunter Show, it is Independence Day. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to have a lot of fun. 3 o'clock on WMAL.
Oh, you got to check out my good buddy Derek Hunter. So proud of him. So glad he's on WMAL. Oh, man. I love Derek. I love Heather. I love the Hunter family. Great people. I owe a great deal to both of them, and I don't say that enough. Derek's great. So listen, 3 o'clock today, I'm going to tune in, listen to Derek today. So listen, we got this question out there. Trump's had a couple of great weeks. He really has had a couple of great weeks. In fact, we have that. You know something? I'm sorry, Jeff. Let me know if this is a pain in the butt. Can you play cut number 6 for me? The Pam Brown cut? Yeah, let's play cut. Yeah, there.
It's been a very good 2 weeks, I think, for Trump.
Absolutely.
I think you look at the Iranian strike, you look at the NATO meeting, you look at also the Iran-Israel ceasefire down to jobs numbers yesterday, and the gas prices lowest since 2021. Ending up with this, I think this has probably been the best 2 weeks he's had of either presidential term.
Yeah, best 2 weeks. I think that's true. And you know who agrees? So there's this guy, Leland Vitter. I don't know who he is. He's on News Nation. But he asks the question, is Trump unstoppable? And he goes through the litany. Let's go ahead and play cut number 10.
Both Republicans and Democrats are facing the cold, hard truth that Trump might be unstoppable. Whether you like him or whether you don't like him, you need to look realistically at what he's doing and how quickly he's doing it. The Trump archives are a series of near impossible feats that we have been told. The Israelis have agreed to a ceasefire deal in Gaza that would bring home the hostages. Hamas has not agreed. Like all Mideast peace deals, it's fragile, but there is progress.
Right, there's progress. And that's just it. It is this question of making good on what he has said. To me, the most stunning thing is the issue of the economy. And as I said earlier, the hewing and crying, the moaning and wailing and gnashing of teeth, which I need to turn into some kind of an acronym, something pithy that's out there. He is making good on these things. And so when you get James Carville, I may have some clips here. No, actually, thankfully, I did not pull the James Carville clips from the other night. James Carville was on bloviating last night on some show, and I don't know what's going on with him. Just getting more crotchety as he gets older, but he's become more and more of a caricature of his own self. And one of the problems with pulling clips of James Carville is you never know if he's going to drop a cuss word. I mean, this is where we are. Listen, I'm not going to go off on a whole tangent about the coarsening of society. But the bottom line here is James Carville was talking about this. I'm going to get me a fan because of the stench. I mean, he sounds like not just a caricature of James Carville, but a caricature of every Southern Dixiecrat from the 1950s and 1960s. Yeah, I'm going to get me a fan to blow that stench of poop off on America. When the reality, of course, is that the more the Democrats go down this road, I mean, it's all of these things that have conspired to make Donald Trump more powerful. But the thing that augurs worst for them is this issue of Donald Trump's success and the fact that they have moaned, wailed, cried, gnashed teeth, etc., to the point where most Americans are thinking that they're crying wolf. There is a cognitive dissonance between what they're being told and what is happening in front of them. And maybe that lends to the mass hysteria. I'm inclined to think that it does, right? It just drives people more crazy. The more you they've built this reality around themselves, and that reality does not jibe with actual reality. It gets back to, one of those things that Biden said, or before he dropped out of the race, and while he was president, right? Biden was carping about the fact that if you drive down the road in your average American city, you could see gas prices rising. And this bothered Joe Biden. Oh, man, if there's just only some way we could stop folks from seeing the gas prices. Because it gets to the point where, Joe Biden would have to say, who are you going to believe? Your lying eyes or me? And most folks are like, oh, I see it over there. Gas prices come down. They're now down 30 cents, 40 cents from where they were a year ago. Or when it was Joe Biden, gas prices are up 40, 50, 60, 70 cents from where they were a year ago. And it's all because of the policies. We know what you're doing here. And you get Karine Jean-Pierre coming out and talking about the manipulation of the markets. But here, Donald Trump has said he's putting more money in your pockets. He's bringing prices down. He's going to make energy cheaper. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And he's delivering on those things, returning common sense. Listen, do I think that we're going to lose, that Republicans are going to lose seats in 2026? Yeah, probably. Right? But it's not going to be the blowout that the James Carvilles of the world are saying. We got more to come. It is 5:53 here on O'Connor and Company, WMAL.